Alright, we are working on our Kandisnky abstract art project that is supposed to be inspired and titled around a mood, a feeling, a song, or even a dance. So I decided to title mine after the song by Katy Perry, Roar. And this is kind of an upbeat song, it's uplifting, it's about kind of achieving your goals. So I'm going to be making a collage based on the song Roar. And you can see here I have my sketch that I planned out already for what I am going to do with my abstract collage. So with the song Roar, you kind of are reminded of like a tiger because they say I have the eye of the tiger. So my background of my collage is going to be tiger stripes. So my background paper is actually going to be orange. And then I will add black paper for the stripes. And then the beat kind of bounces all around, and there's a lot of talk of the roar and the long note of the roar. So that long note is going to be represented, and the roar is represented in this long line of O's that I will cut out of blue, green, and black paper. Those are kind of strong colors to show kind of the strength in the song. So I'm going to find all the paper I need, cut out everything I need before I even glue it on. So that's my next step, is to just find the paper I need, cut things out. I'm taking my time and working on craftsmanship when I'm cutting, and I will get all those pieces cut out. And one good trick I can show you with cutting is to fold your paper. If you are going to be repeating the same shape more than once, fold your paper a few times so that you only have to cut out that shape 1 or 2 times, depending on how strong your scissors are. So I just folded my paper 1, 2, I'm going to have 4 of the same shape now, which is great. In art, repeating things or having repetition is a really awesome thing. So I'm just going to cut out some curvy lines for my tiger stripes. And before I let that separate, I'm going to cut the other side first. So these are my little tiger stripes that will be going up and down in the background. Remember, in collage you want to overlap. So this is kind of what I'll put in the background of my collage. And I'll also have things over top of it too. So there I have 4 stripes that are exactly the same. I need to cut on this side here. And you can also use the scraps that are left over in the collage as well. Otherwise you can throw them away or put them in the scrap box. So now I have 8 tiger stripes, and that did not take me very long. So doing that where you are folding your paper to cut out multiple shapes that you want to repeat, that's a really smart thing to do that will save you a lot of time. I can also do that same thing for these circles that I need to cut out. So just folding my paper in half, cutting out my circle. And at this point, I'm not even drawing my shapes on my paper. I'm just doing my best to cut this with my scissors. If you would like to, you could use a circle like this to trace and put that on before you cut it out, but you don't necessarily have to. So now, again, I saved some time. I have 2 circles. If I wanted to, I could also use what's left over here and cut out the outline of a circle, which is something that I have in my sketch, so I definitely want to use this, what's left over here. So I'm just kind of making the outside part of this rounded like a circle, and again, saving a lot of time by using what's left over, folding my paper, and getting 2 for 1 cut. Alright, so now I have all the pieces cut out that I think I need. I even found some pieces in the scrap bins that I think I could also use. And once I have all the pieces and maybe even a few extra pieces ready to go, then I'm going to start to arrange and rearrange and make sure that I like my plan for where everything is going to go. And you don't always have to stick to exactly what your plan was, but try to follow it. But if there are some changes that you need to make, you can do that as well. So you kind of take everything off of your paper and start to lay things down. Remember, overlapping is very important in collage. You don't want to just have shapes sitting next to each other. So I'm kind of putting my background shapes down first, and if I have things going off the edge, I'll have them go off the edge and cut them off later and decide where everything is going. Alright, so now I've kind of arranged and rearranged everything that I think I want in my collage. I have everything placed where I would like it to go. If you noticed, I even kind of decided that I wanted to use more of my scraps, and I cut off a few triangles to make this line over here, which I also kind of had in my plan. It's a little bit different, but it's similar. I wanted a line going up and down. So I used my scraps to cut that out kind of as I was arranging and rearranging. Right now I have a lot of things going off the edge, but what you're going to do next is you're going to remember where you have everything. If you would like to, you could take a picture with your iPad, because really the easiest way to go about this now is to take everything off and just glue what your plan was back on. So I would start by gluing the stripes in the background, then I'll probably glue on all of the circles that go through the middle. Also trimming everything down that goes off of the edge whenever works best to trim that off, because we don't want a bunch of stuff hanging off the edge. When you are gluing, we know our rhyme is ... not a lot. You will be using bottled glue, so make sure you turn that cap open. Do not squeeze very hard with your glue. You are just using small dots of glue. If you really wanted to, you could have left everything on here and just glued one step at a time and be very careful, but that's not what I would recommend. I would recommend taking a picture and then looking at that picture as you're gluing things on. Okay, so I'm starting with my first pieces that go in the background. Notice I'm just using dots. The most amount of dots you should use on any long strip of paper would be like 5 or 6. Here I have 6. And notice they're not really thick dots of glue, they're very small. I didn't even squeeze my glue bottle as I was doing that. Okay, so continue to use small dots of glue as you finish your collage. When you are gluing your different geometric shapes, if you're doing a circle, this circle's not very big, I would use 4 or 5 dots around the edges, just like that. If you are doing a solid circle or even a square or a triangle or rectangle, the most dots you should use is 4 or 5 around the edges. Okay?
You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I got the eye of the tiger, fire, dancing through the fire, 'cause I am a champion.
Alright, so everything's kind of a mess because it's all going off the edges right now, and if you wanted to, before you glued them on, you could have cut them off, but I'm just going to go ahead and trim around the edges now. You might then have to go back and glue a few things down to make sure that they stay on, but I'm just finding the edge of the paper and lining my scissors up with that edge of the paper and cutting anything off that went off the edge, which really does not take very long. Now if you had glue that kind of went off anywhere where you didn't want it to, or it kind of squeezed out once you set the shapes on, I would go ahead and wipe that up. Make sure everything's sticking down really well. If it's not, then go and just add a little touch of glue to make sure it stays down wherever it's overlapping. So really the most important things here in collage is getting all those shapes, lots of geometric shapes and straight cuts and lines with this type of collage, and then overlapping is what will make this look really cool. Having shapes that go over top of each other and in and out of each other. So make sure that your shapes are overlapping. You're working on neatness with cutting and gluing, not a lot, and you're just taking your time as you arrange where everything's going to go. So there is my Roar collage. You can see my tiger stripes and then kind of my strong, cool colors, blue and green, also mixed in with black to make that beat and get that feeling of that strength from the song Roar. Good luck with your collage.